This is quite possibly one of the most beautiful campsites I've ever camped at. This place is breathtaking. What's going on, guys? I am standing in British Columbia, right on the border of the Yukon. In fact, the British Columbia-Yukon border passes right through this lake. I mean, I can see the Yukon. And I am on day 9 of this Arctic overland adventure, and things have been going so well. We've had some challenges, which I'll share with you, and we have some hurdles we still need to overcome. But I thought what I would do this morning, since I had a little bit of time, is check in with you guys, do a little situational report, and just bring you up to speed on how things have been going. And I am so full of joy. I mean, how could I not be at a beautiful place like this? So I'm going to work my way down the beach, go to camp, and just kind of go down the list here of a few things that I have to talk about, which is a lot. There's been a lot that's happened in the last 9 days, and I'll start off with miles traveled. So in the last 9 days, so I left San Diego, and I have traveled almost 3,000 miles. I think it's about 2,954 or something when I looked last night. That's a lot of miles. It's been a lot of fuel. But the Jeep and the Patriot Campers trailer have been doing incredible. And, well, we did have a couple challenges. But again, I will get to that in a moment. I want to go through the situational report requirements. Off-road miles. We did a little bit of off-roading. I actually found some really cool spots when I was coming up to Canada by myself. And so I camped in the Eastern Sierras. There's an easy dirt road there. And then I camped in Eastern Oregon. I went to the Owahis, and that was interesting because it was Memorial Day weekend. And I apologize, I keep looking down. This is a pretty rocky lake beach, and I don't want to bust an ankle. So I was in the Owahis, and it was Memorial Day weekend, and there were a lot of people out there. And I have quite a few camp spots marked out in the Owahis, and well, let's just say they were all taken. And so I spent, I don't know, it was a good 2 hours trying to find camp out there. And I did finally end up finding a nice spot, but I did do a lot of off-roading to get there. And so I don't know how many miles I put in, but it was probably 30 or 40 off-road miles there. And then I drove up to Washington, and I was right on the Canadian-Washington border where I camped. And it was one of those spots where I had just kind of surfed around Google Earth looking for a place to camp. And man, I found a gem. I mean, I can't wait to show you I can't wait to show you all the footage, but that campsite surprised the heck out of me. All I will tell you is I was on a river, and there was a massive, massive waterfall. It was spectacular. And yes, I've been filming every single day, all 9 days on the way up here, and it's been great. Okay, so off-road miles. Oh, and then I met up with Sean in British Columbia, and followed him up to one of his favorite trails. And so that was some good off-roading there. We had a good time. We went all the way up in this mountain, and it was definitely muddy. Trucks got destroyed in the mud, and we had a blast. And that was a lot of off-roading. And then we kind of hit the pavement, and then we've just been, I think this is day 6 with Sean from the Story Till Now, and we've hit a lot of pavement, and we've hit a little bit of dirt. We're probably going to hit a little bit more dirt this afternoon if all goes well. So, but again, this is not a off-road trip. This is a get to Tuktoyaktuk trip. Weather's been interesting. Right now it is probably 34, 36 degrees, just above freezing. There is no wind. It's beautiful. Last night when we got to this campsite, it was windy, it was chilly, and it's been cold almost the whole trip. Last night where we were camped on a river, It was in the 60s, low 60s, low 50s, but it got below freezing at night. And so I think it's supposed to start warming up. All the weather forecast says it start to be above freezing, which is actually very important when I get to our hurdle that we have to get over here soon. So location, I already talked about that. Vehicle reports. Okay, first of all, the Gladiator has been performing so well. I am so happy with how I have built that out because it has been perfect up to this point. Not any issues except for I've already cracked the windshield. I hit. There was a truck. We were going down this windy road. I think it was the Stuart Cassier Highway, and yep, here comes this truck, and I hear smack, and I was like, I looked around, I didn't see anything. And of course, this morning I see this big crack in my windshield. I'm like, yep. But I kind of figured that was happening. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if I get another crack before this is all over, because we're going to get onto the Dempster Highway, and that's just a dirt gravel road, and I'm sure rocks will be flying all over the place. Sean's truck, he did have a little issue when we were in his neck of the woods. I'll just tell you, he broke something, and it kind of really slowed us down. And again, this will all be in the video series that's coming out. I don't want to give too much away. I'm going to give you some intel, but I don't want to give it all away because I want you guys to go watch the videos. People status. Sean and I are doing great. Awesome. Healthy. We're feeling good. We're staying warm. Everything's going well. I would say we had some great meals, so we're eating great. I know a lot of people have been asking about my shoulder. I tore my labrum about 2 months ago. I've been going through physical therapy. It's feeling much, much better. I still have limited range of motion. I'm definitely not 100%. There's things I can't do. In fact, Sean he broke out the axe and was chopping some firewood at camp the other night. And I was like, man, I'll help you out as much as I can, but I can't swing an axe. That's one thing I can't do, which is kind of a bummer. But otherwise, we're feeling good. It's a lot of drive time, but we're getting out, we're walking around, we're seeing things, we're stopping often, and so we're feeling good. So people report is good. And then tomorrow, I should say today, because really that's today. It's this morning. And I got to tell you, it's been hard. I've been losing track of time and days. This morning, we're going to leave here and hopefully make it to Whitehorse, which is in the Yukon, and then a little bit further northwest and make it to Dawson Creek and spend a little bit of time in both of those towns. And then we kind of have an idea of where we want to camp tonight. But that's been changing often. It just kind of depends how we're feeling, what we come across. In fact, this campsite here, this lake, was a complete detour. We saw this on the map, and it was a waypoint that Epic Family Road Trip had given me, and we're like, you know what? Let's just go check it out. And it was a 30-minute detour out of the way. So basically, we're an hour off track because 30 minutes here and 30 minutes to get back to where we were. Absolutely worth it. I mean, guys, look at that mountain. It's beautiful here. It's so gorgeous. And so we've been allowing ourselves some flexibility to do this, to just stop and go see things and make little detours, and it's been fun. All right, let's talk about some of the non-specific SITREP things. Bugs. I know that was a big thing that people were commenting about when I said I was coming up here to Canada and going all the way to the Arctic Circle. Bugs have been almost non-existent. There's only been maybe one evening where things got pretty challenging, but we ended up on this logging forest road, and it was really damp, and we were struggling to find a camp spot. And then, of course, when we get to the camp spot, there were just mosquitoes everywhere. They were super, super thick. I was dousing myself in bug spray. Thankfully, after about an hour, we just got this massive rain, and then they were gone. But otherwise, other than that one situation, there's been a few here and there, but it's been pretty mild. In fact, it's so cold right now, there's no bugs out here, which is nice. But we'll see how it goes. You know, things are warming up, and which means the bugs are coming. And that was kind of why I wanted to do this trip so early in the season, is because I didn't want to come out here when it was mosquito infested. And so far, so good. Let's talk about wildlife. Okay, I've seen a massive amount of wildlife, guys. It has been so amazing. So I'll start off. I saw some antelope in Oregon. That was cool. And then coming into Canada, finally, you guys aren't gonna believe this, finally I saw some bighorn sheep. I had to come to Canada to see them, because many of you know that I've been trying to find some bighorn sheep for a long time, and I had to come to Canada to see them. And I saw 2 herds of them driving on this beautiful, windy and twisty road. And sure enough, they were just off the road, and I was mesmerized. I stopped. Of course, I got a ton of footage and just hung out there and watched them graze in the grass for a while. That was amazing. We've seen moose. Actually saw a mother and a baby moose. Wow. That was pretty incredible. I saw a couple beaver in this beaver dam. Like, the beaver was swimming right in front of our campsite that we were camping at. I've never seen a beaver before, and that was pretty cool. I've seen a couple bald eagles. Yesterday was packed with wildlife. We saw a really big black bear. And I will mention that I am in grizzly country at the moment. There was actually signs warning for grizzly bears where we're at. So I am carrying, I'm sorry, I'm trying to balance my phone and the camera and the bear spray, but I am carrying bear spray with me at the moment because I don't want to have any encounters. You know, I'm sure if a grizzly came out here, he could probably care less about the bear spray, but I have it with me nonetheless. But I did see a black bear yesterday. We also saw a fox, and I feel like I'm forgetting something. I know I saw something else. Well, you'll have to watch the video because we filmed it all. And I'll give you more updates along the way. Okay, fishing. So I have not seen a single fish jump in this lake yet this morning. And I keep watching because usually if it's fishy, you'll see a few in the morning that are, you know, they're working on getting their breakfast. And I haven't seen any fish jump this morning. So I haven't actually thought about throwing my pole out. I may try to fish a little bit, but I did fish yesterday. And we were on this fish, and I caught 2 fish, and they weren't big enough to keep or eat. But at the time, I didn't even know what they were. I had to look it up later, and they were grayling, and it was spectacular. I've never caught a grayling before. And I apologize that the exposure is just going in and out, guys, but at least you have a really nice view back there. This is raw. This is a SITREP, right? We just kind of do this raw. So I caught a couple fish, but remember my goal, sorry, it's cold. My goal is to catch dinner, and Sean wants to do some fishing as well. So we're hoping that somewhere we can actually catch some fish and dinner. So I don't know, it could happen here at the lake. We'll probably throw our poles in a little bit. So, all right, now, what's going on in the future? So we kind of have one hurdle we have to overcome. And that is, there are 2 river crossings. There's the Peel River and the Mackenzie River. And most of the time during the winter, you just drive across those rivers because they're frozen. And in the summertime, there's a ferry that runs back and forth, and that's easy. There's this in-between period where you can't drive across it and the ferries can't run because the ice isn't thick enough. Ice isn't thin enough. And that's where we're at right now. Right now, there's no ferries running and you can't drive across. And so every day I am looking to see, are they open? Are they open? And watching the weather in those areas. And it's warming up, but as of this morning, those ferries are still not open. Now, we have about 72 hours before we get there. And we do have a little bit of flexibility in our schedule that we could wait it out for another day or two, possibly. I don't want to do that because we still have a lot to see. And we're actually going to take a different route home than we came the way there, and that route's a little bit longer. And so if we ended up having to wait for ferries, that could cause a challenge. We're still going to make it to the Arctic Circle, which that's primary goal, right? But to get to Tuktoyaktuk and to be able to camp on the Arctic Ocean, that's the ultimate goal. And so we're hoping those ferries start running very, very soon. And that's the biggest hurdle we have coming up. We still have, I don't know how many more miles we have. It's not too far. Once we get to Dawson Creek this afternoon, I think from there to Tuktoyaktuk, it's not terribly far. I mean, I'm almost halfway done with this trip, guys, which is crazy to think about. 9 days. It's been a lot of miles, but it's been so amazing. Okay, Patriot Campers trailer has been so nice because that diesel heater has been invaluable, guys. It's been running every night and it's been keeping me warm. I mean, it's been very, very, very cold. And the water, the food, the storage, this has been such a huge asset. Now, there was one spot, I mentioned that logging road that Sean and I kind of went down where it was buggy. There was this one big ditch there, and it was much steeper than I expected. And we filmed all this, and I buried it. And so we had to pull a winch. Yeah, that happened. I kind of was a little overzealous. I thought I had it and I didn't have it. So that was the one challenge I've had. But the Gladiator has been performing really well. My good friend Sean sitting over here, drinking some coffee, enjoying life, enjoying the view. And this is his truck. And by the time you guys see this video, his truck will have been released to the public. So it'll be okay to share that he's got a Ram 2500, and this is a Rebel that's been outfitted with the entire AEV package and a four-wheel camper. And I think we're going to do a walk around of this, but it's a beautiful, beautiful truck. And watching it perform on the trail has been, I got to be honest, it's making me miss my Power Wagon a lot. I had a Power Wagon with the four-wheel camper on it, and I love that truck. But to do it all over again, I would have done a standard 2500 with the four-wheel camper and not the Power Wagon, just because you have such a different suspension in the rear of the regular 2500 versus what you have with the Power Wagon, and it just manages the weight of something like a camper so much better. And so to do it again, that's exactly what I do. So look, I'm not getting another truck. I'm not getting another thing. The Gladiator is performing well. But when you watch a vehicle like that in action, it's pretty incredible. It's pretty awesome. So we'll see. He had a little breakdown, but we're continuing on. He's comfortable. He's loving it. And Sean's just a great guy to hang out with. I mean, he and I have been out on the trails together, but we've never spent this much time together. And what I like about Sean is, we're like-minded. We both have kind of that adventurous spirit, like let's see what's down this trail and let's go find it, and being super flexible and not stressing about things. And when we find ourselves in a situation where we got to pull winch or something breaks, we're just ready for the challenge, and just let's figure out how to solve this problem. And just a good guy to hang out with. I'm really enjoying spending some time with him, so it's been good. Okay. That's the SITREP, guys, for this. I will probably check in with you guys here in a couple days. And I know I have some videos that I owe you guys. I know there was one where we did at Shift Auto Works with the Gladiator. I thought I'd be able to edit it while I was out here, and the truth is I just can't. A lot of editing is going to happen when I get home. So I apologize to the guys at Shift. That video is coming, but you're probably going to see this before you see that video. And then, man, I'll bet we get 4 or 5, maybe even 6 videos from this Arctic series, which is cool. I have so much footage. It's awesome. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Make sure you check us out over at TrailRecon.com and follow me over on Instagram, because I've been posting stories about all of this entire time. Until next time, safe travels.